To happen, didn't it? Of course it did. It always happens in relationships. You see, with Meghan and Harry, they've built their brand, if you like, on Meghan looking doe-eyed in public at Prince Harry, at least, looking up to him as if he's the knight in shining armour, of course, the sort of solution to all of her problems. 5 years down the line, of course, really the problems are insurmountable in many respects. Lost deals, no great sort of foresight, and the big plan of Megxit didn't necessarily work out in their favour. You can understand, of course, why she possibly was relieved to have something of a break, at least to collect herself away from the former role known as the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry. He zipped over to Tokyo, Singapore, for his charities, and she gathered her thoughts as to what's going to happen next. You know what it's like. But as ever with these kind of relationships, there are problems afoot. And as ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, how are you? Let's have a wave today. You all right? By the way, Danielle, if you're watching, I met a beautiful young lady today, well, out filming, called Danielle. And she lived in, I think, LA, and then, of course, has now moved back to London during the pandemic, and clearly got a lovely soft heart because she likes to feed the birds every single day, seeds and all that sort of stuff. I think that's a sweet thing, don't you? Danielle, it was a pleasure to talk to you. As I often say to all the people that come up while we're out and about filming in London, really lovely to meet you. Truly, it's nice, you know, to finally meet people, because you kind of, well, you wonder if you're doing this on your own. What do you mean you are? Have you dropped off already? Keep up. Seriously, you do sometimes think, anybody listening, anybody watching? That's why we make the programme though for you, seriously. It's always a pleasure, and as I say, if you're out and about in London and you do see me, do come up and say hello. We don't bite, you know, and if anything, I've got a bit left, I might give you a bit of my flask. I know, well, I'm a bit precious about that. Got one of those new ones. Let's just leave it there. We can't go into Flaskgate again, can we? No. Back as ever to your breaking balls story of the day. This is serious stuff, in fact, because as we now know, Harry and Meghan are having, shall we say, fractious times over the direction of their education of their two children, that are Prince Archie and Princess Lily. It always happens because, as you can imagine, they both come from very different educational backgrounds, albeit both have been to very prestigious schools, paid for by their very helpful and kind parents. You get the picture. But what's interesting now, as you see, is just other things. Because when they moved away from the British monarchy, Harry and Meghan were very, very specific about the things they didn't want to interact with. Number one, the British media. They gave a list of tabloids or newspapers they would talk to. One of them was the Telegraph newspaper, so you get that picture. And of course, you know, Harry thought social media was toxic. Not so, though, his wife Meghan Markle, who, as we told you before, has many, many surprise accounts herself to keep an eye on exactly what's going around. I know you tune in, Meghan, no two ways about it. But the bottom line is this: you can understand, as she moves a brand forward, she has to think about connecting. And her new team at the William Morris Agency, you know, there's none more powerful, more bigger than the brand of social media. It has been said that Meghan already has a handle set up at Meghan, and they're looking to see how many thousands, if not millions, will sign up already. But you see, Harry doesn't like this idea. He still believes that they left for a life of privacy. Don't I know, the Worldwide Privacy Tour? And he believes that still toxic sort of, and he believes that still that social media is toxicity and all that sort of stuff. He's a daft ape, isn't it? Because the bottom line is, in this particular climate, it is the way to connect. It is the fastest way. And of course, Harry and Meghan don't mind when they're on it in its positive light. But of course, as Meghan and her team have to point out, moving the brand forward now will mean a return back to social media. I'm guessing she will return to social media with or without Prince Harry's consent. Of course, comments will be monitored, perhaps turned off, and this will appease him for a while. But the bottom line for him is, he's got to get used to the fact that Meghan does things her way, and if he doesn't like it, he can tag along or shift off. That's the deal. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.